It's pro-immigration. It's pro-alliance-based foreign policy. And the only way to do that is to get past Trump. Yeah. And now that the Republicans are going to control the Senate because John Tester is toast in Montana and Joe Manchin's not running, so it's already going to be at least 51 seats. I still think Sherrod Brown will pull it out, but it'll be at least 51 seats. So all this stuff that the Ben Shapiros talk about, how she's going to get rid of the filibuster and she's going to pack the Supreme Court and she's going to add on 2 states with 4 more senators and all this stuff, it's not going to happen. So now, okay, now, yeah. So, pardon?
That's what they say they want to do. They're very open about it.
Well, the point is, first of all, I don't believe that. I think that's pandering. But the point is, whether you believe it or not, it can't happen now. So that gives you a safe reason to vote for Kamala. You're not voting for Kamala. I'm not voting for Kamala. I'm voting to get rid of Trump, and I'm voting in the hopes that we can get my old Republican Party back.
Yeah,
that's what I want.
Dole, all these other guys, John McCain.
They were Nikki Haley. How about what? Nikki Haley? I mean,
well, she didn't win. She didn't win. I would, I'm fine with Nikki Haley, although she's never returned any of my phone calls. I think she's terrific. But the old Republican Party is no more. It just isn't. You can say it's been Trumpified. You can say it's been taken over. But conservatives especially don't want to go back to the days where Bob Dole and John McCain and some of these other guys and Mitt Romney lost elections. They were the ideal. The New York Times endorsed every one of those, all 3 of those, for the nomination. But as soon as they got it, they and all their columnists opposed their election. And that's where a lot of people say, how are you going to win with a Bob Dole or a Mitt Romney or a John McCain in this kind of era?
But most Americans, even most Republican, most non-MAGA people still believe in sensible immigration. Okay. And believe me, I think that a lot of the criticism against the Biden administration is unfair. I think inflation was 70% caused by mangled supply chains. 20% was Biden's fault. 10% of it was COVID spending under Trump. I think Biden's foreign policy in many ways has been good in terms of Ukraine and expanding NATO. But the border, for 3 years, they did nothing, and they deserve the consequences for that. Carrie knows I'm a straight shooter. But Biden's foreign policy, sensible immigration, alliance-based foreign policy. I mean, how many Americans want to deport 9 million people? How many Americans want tariffs that are going to jack up the cost for working class people?
Let's talk about Biden's foreign policy. He keeps pressuring Israel to, quote, end the war, although Israel didn't start the war and the other side doesn't want to end it. The terrorists want to eliminate Israel and the Jewish people. What is the end game in Ukraine? He doesn't give Ukraine enough weapons to win the war. Nobody is saying what the end goal is. Is it to push Russia out of all of the occupied lands? Is it to defeat Russia? Is it to get into a nuclear battle with Russia? I certainly hope not. But we can't afford to keep sending all of this money to Ukraine with no map for victory. Can we?
So, my point is, if you're looking at how Trump is going to handle it, okay, Biden's done some good things on foreign policy. He's done some bad things on foreign policy. But will you at least admit that Donald Trump has this affinity for dictators? I mean, taking Putin's side over his own intelligence.
Dave, you know how I feel about this. You know. But
the point is, but we're getting off the track. But my point is, most Americans would want a return to what Reagan Republican was. Do they want Bob Dole back or necessarily Mitt Romney? No, but they do want what I've outlined above. I mean, populism is not a popular policy. Populism is nativism, protectionism, and isolationism. That's not what this country is about. Will you at least acknowledge that?
Did you vote for Reagan?
Absolutely.
No, you did. I'm very impressed. An honest man.
I voted for George W. Bush. I voted for, I didn't vote for, George H.W. Bush. The only election I couldn't vote was 2004 because I didn't think Bush didn't deserve re-election. John Kerry was so deplorable. I hate to say it was probably irresponsible.
I think I've got a solution here. Dave, we got to wrap. This conference is going back on, but Why don't we have a Thomas Spencer ticket?
There you go.
I do like the plane, though.
There you go. You got perks.
There you go. Well, it's been so much fun. And Cal, I really appreciate you coming on such short notice. And we had our other guest was not able to make it. And I love your wit. I love your demeanor. And as you can see on this show, everything is always said with a smile. And if the rest of the world could have dialogue as spirited and as civil as we do, I think we would be okay.
Well, thank you, Dave. And you can show your gratitude by getting my latest book, A Watchman in the Night.
I absolutely will. Well,
very
thanks
much.
again for being on. I hope you'll come back. And sadly, that's another wrap for us on Practically Political, but it's been so great having all of you. And I'm Dave Spencer.
And I'm Carrie Sheffield. Until next time.